Charles Burton. He's a senior fellow at the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, leading think tank in our country. One of his areas of expertise is China. Charles, good to see you again, and thank you for your time today. What do you make of this national security law?
It's much more chilling than I had expected. The range of offenses is very broad, and it also includes persons who are not residents of Hong Kong who engage in activities that violate the law from abroad. So you don't have to have any connection to Hong Kong. All you have to do is suggest, for example, that we should be applying Magnitsky sanctions to officials in Hong Kong who are complicit in violation of human rights. It also very much restricts the ability of people in Hong Kong to relate to foreign governments and the international community to express their concerns over violation of the basic law. The definition of secession, subversion, terrorism, and collusion with foreign forces is extremely broad, and it also allows, in some cases, if so deemed, complicated or involving foreign influence, for the legal process to take place inside China, away from the Hong Kong judicial system. So this is really the end of Hong Kong as we've known it, and I think a lot of people in Hong Kong, particularly those who have Canadian citizenship or the right of abode in Britain, will probably at this stage decide it would be prudent to leave that territory.
I wonder whether you think there's anything the international community can actually do to alter this trajectory for Hong Kong. It doesn't seem like the Chinese are too interested in letting other countries interfere as they see it.
Well, you know, Canada was signatory to the Sino-British Joint Declaration on Hong Kong when it was lodged with the UN. So we do have an obligation to see that declaration is followed. But we're already seeing the senior leaders of the democratic movement in Hong Kong, such as Joshua Wong, Agnes Chow, Nathan Lau, resigning from their positions and saying they will no longer engage in politics because it's clear under this law that they would be subject to very severe penalties, including the possibility of life imprisonment. So we don't even have people in Hong Kong that we can engage with anymore, much less, rally, support people in Hong Kong who are insisting that Hong Kong's existing political and economic arrangements with China should be preserved, as the Chinese government promised at the time of the turnover of Hong Kong from British to Chinese sovereignty in 1997. This is the end of one country, two systems, and the end of no change for 50 years promise that was made in 97. So really, they're doing this a few years early. The original commitment was to 2047. We're only in 2020 now.
Right. And I also know that there are those who will say the Chinese see a real opportunity amid COVID-19 to move on this and seize the opportunity because the world is distracted. And, what are we able to do to try and stop it? Probably not a whole heck of a lot. I'm curious whether you think this means, and I think you just touched on it there, but just to clarify, that this will mean that Hong Kong is now, quote, lost.
Yes, I would say so. And Canadians, people of Hong Kong origin here in Canada, who are active in the movement to maintain Hong Kong's freedoms, would be subject to arrest and possible extradition to the People's Republic of China if they return to Hong Kong. So this is extremely serious for all persons of Hong Kong origin throughout the world, not just those in Hong Kong. And the possibility, theoretically, we have an extradition treaty with Hong Kong, and Hong Kong could start demanding that Canadians who are active in lobbying for human rights in Hong Kong be sent to Hong Kong to face prosecution under this law. Although I think it's unlikely that we would, agree to those extradition requests.
Charles Burton joining us from St. Catharines with the Macdonald-Laurier Institute, a leading thinker on China and our country, with his take on this ominous news. Thank you for this, Charles. I wish it was under better circumstances.
Thank you, Todd.